Let's say your diesel engine cranks like a champ. Battery sounds strong, the engine spins fast, but there's zero smoke coming out of the exhaust. Nothing, not even a puff. Maybe you're thinking, should I order injectors? Fuel pump? Should I just maybe buy an electric car? Well, hold on, because no smoke is actually a huge clue. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly what that clue means, along with how to diagnose it. Because this situation happens pretty often. Truck gets towed in, customer says it cranks fine, just won't start. And what's the easiest first step? Well, we can look at the exhaust while we're cranking, because that one detail, smoke or no smoke, can save you hours of guessing. So today we're breaking this down step by step like a real diagnostic technician would, including what no smoke actually means, along with the most common causes. You'll learn how to test each one, which will hopefully avoid you throwing parts at this. But first we have to get something straight. Diesel engines need three things to run: fuel, aka diesel, air, and heat, which happens because of the high compression in the cylinder during the compression stroke. Now, here's the key: if fuel is entering the cylinder but not igniting, you're going to get, as a result, white smoke. If fuel is partially burning, you may get gray or black smoke, but if you have no smoke at all, that means fuel is not entering the combustion chamber. And that's it. That's where you will be starting. So stop worrying for now about compression. Stop worrying about glow plugs or intake air heating for now as well, because your issue is likely to be fuel delivery or fuel control. But let's break down the real world causes of this, starting with number one: no injection event, aka the injectors aren't firing. Now, this is a big one because the ECM is saying, nope, not safe to inject fuel. Fuel shall not pass. And there will be a reason for this, however. Common reasons include no crankshaft signal, no camshaft signal, security or immobilizer issues, or no injector power. If the ECM doesn't know the engine position, it's not going to inject fuel. Now, this makes sense because injecting fuel at the wrong piston position could blow things up fast. And number two is no fuel rail pressure on modern high pressure common rail engines. Now, if you're working on a common rail fuel system, the injectors will not fire unless the rail pressure hits a minimum threshold. This is usually around 4 or 5,000 psi, but it might vary. Now, if the pressure is too low, no injection is going to occur, which means no smoke, and of course, no start. Causes may include failed or failing high pressure pump, a massive internal leak, such as an injector fuel return issue, or faulty pressure regulator or error in the fuel system. Now, number three is no fuel supply on the low pressure side. Before high pressure can be made, you need fuel supply, and that comes in the low pressure variety. Now, if fuel isn't reaching the pump, issues might include a plugged fuel filter, a failed lift pump, or an air leak in the suction side, possibly even empty fuel tank. Yes, this does actually happen. Now, no fuel supply equals no fuel to pressurize, which equals no injection. Four is we have electrical issues. Now, sometimes it isn't fuel and it is about electrical controls. Things like a blown injector fuse, bad relays, broken wiring harnesses, or failed injector drivers. These all equal no electrical signals, which means the injectors are going to stay closed. Serious control issues this fuel system has, right? And number five are sensor failures. Modern diesels rely heavily on sensors. If either of these fails, the ECM doesn't know the position of the crankshaft, so no injection event is going to happen, which again is going to lead to no smoke. So let's go through a real diagnostic walkthrough, and we're going to start by verifying no smoke. You have to actually go and watch the exhaust while cranking, or get a buddy to go and do it, whatever works. Now, if it's truly clean, then keep diagnosing no smoke. Step two is to check the RPM while cranking. If you have access to a scan tool, you can hook it up and look for an engine RPM signal. If the RPM equals 0 while cranking, you might have a bad crank sensor or a wiring issue. Now, failed crank sensors may not show up as active check engine light codes to indicate that they failed, but no RPM equals no injection. And while you're still hooked up, if you can check the fuel rail pressure, this is critical as well to make sure that it's in the right range while cranking. If the pressure is below spec, there's your problem. If it reaches spec, the fuel supply system is likely all good. And if low, check the fuel supply side first, then check for leaks or pump failures. Now next, we want to verify injector command. We want to know if the engine control module, or ECM, is even trying to fire the injectors. Some scan tools have injector tests built in to check for problems with injectors and to check their status. On older diesel engines, it was fairly common to use some starting aid or ether to help with hard starts. Now, this is not a good idea at all with new engine designs, however, due to the intake air heating systems because adding ether can essentially blow up the air intake as it ignites at a much lower temperature than the diesel fuel. Other engine damage may occur as well due to the characteristics of ether, which are much different than diesel fuel, obviously. But back to checking the low pressure supply, because we can check the fuel filter condition, the lift pump operation, and the fuel pressure at the inlet, which is typically at the fuel filter housing. And you'd be surprised at how many major failures are just plug filters, especially in cold winter weather when fuel gelling is common. So if you've got no smoke and somebody suggests injectors, think about that for a second. If the injectors were bad, you'd usually still see some smoke. Now, if somebody suggests it's low compression, that's unlikely if the engine still cranks strong with no abnormal noises. Low compression will usually still produce smoke. And if somebody suggests the glow plugs or the intake air heating system have gone bad, while the glow plugs certainly affect cold starts, they don't cause zero smoke during cranking. And here's the simplest way to remember this: no smoke equals no fuel in the cylinder. So your job is simply to figure out, why is fuel not getting there? Is the ECM seeing the engine turn? Is there enough rail pressure? Are the injectors actually being commanded? And is fuel actually reaching the system? Now, there are more things that affect hard starts than just no smoke, however. So watch this video next to get an overview on the complete no start system.